Thank you. Um, for item number one, well, first I want to say Happy New Year's. I'm ready to just jump right in there. I haven't seen or spoken to a few of you, but Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah.
Happy New Year, Julie.
Yeah. Okay, so with the first item on the agenda for the extraordinary circumstance participants, it will
First item.
be myself, and I'm not sure, Marty may or may not attend in person. I don't see him in the room. So it'll just be myself and Marty and maybe Chuck.
I think MSW could be Marty on Zoom, if that's.
That would be him. I'll wait and I'll wait and see if you let him in to see if that's Marty.
Unmute MSW and ask who that is.
It's Marty.
Okay,
I'm
good.
having trouble.
Gotcha, thank you.
I'm going to go on my laptop and get myself videos. It's not working on my iPad.
Okay.
Okay, we're good then.
You see David. Okay. Is Margaret there? Oh, she's sitting right next to you. Okay, nice. Yeah. Margaret, just to let you know, while we're waiting to see if Marty can get online, just to let you know that Bob Fanuzzi and Julia reached out to me. They will not be at the meeting this evening. Okay, while Marty's trying to get on, I'll give my report. It's very brief. Basically, we will be doing the Community Service Awards. We'll be sending out the notices and starting the process in February 1st, so that the presentations will be made in May of this year, along when the Economic Development Committee conducts their Betty Campbell's Award, Merchants Award. And then I'd also like to say that for the general board meeting next month, we're back at the school and the time is very, very limited there, and we have to be out at a certain hour. So we will use the clock again for 3-minute reports, because I would imagine it's going to be quite an agenda with us discussing the city of Yes. So what I've done is I just rearranged the order of the committee reports, where we'll have the committees who have resolutions go first, and then we'll do the housing, economic, and land use. And hopefully we'll get to the rest of the committee reports. But we really have to be out of there. So the meeting should go from 7 to 9 p.m. So we will be using the clock again. Tonight, we're not using the clock because we'll, you guys have a lot to say. It's the beginning of the year. Does anyone have any questions on those two issues? No? Okay. So for my report, that's pretty much it on my end. So we'll go on to the treasurer's report.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have the January fiscal year 24 treasurer's report. One is a breakdown of personal services, which is our salaries, and yes, budget. We have a remaining balance, no TPS of $21,741, which is down. The budget mod from last month was processed, so that's why we have a little more this month than we did. $1,000 from PS to OTPS. And since last month, we really haven't spent a lot. I think we just paid some cleaning bills, and we still have that $10,000 cushion in object code 499. 1.2, there's no budget mods this month. 1.3 shows $194 in encumbered funds. Finally, 1.4 is rent and energy, which is maintained separately by OMB. It's brief, but that's my report for the month.
Given that we are at the 6-month midpoint, can you reflect on, how close or far away we are from at budgets on these items? Are we, one, I think we're ahead, but most of them we're way behind. We haven't spent much, and what we can do with it for the rest of the year.
We have a little less this year than last year because of our payroll. That's why it seems like that. On the pike, I know, it's gonna be an expense, so I don't wanna say we're behind. Not spending enough, is that what you're asking?
Sort of, or do we have plans for it, like the housing guide?
Yeah, we wanna be conservative and see what's coming down the pike, and we still have that reimbursement for the laptop. So that's coming. I think we're in good shape, I don't think we're behind.
Right.
And I think I'd rather err on the side of being conservative.
No, I understand that, but some of these are substantial. You say that we brought over 4,000 from personal services. We're gonna end up with probably 50,000 over, or something on that order, left over on personal services. Well, we've allocated 87,000, we have 138 left. Assuming we do for another 6 months, approximately the same, it'll leave us with 50 or 60,000 unspent.
That's salaries.
Yeah, no, I understand that,
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do with
I
that?
can check again with OMB to see if it gets transferred.
Yeah, like, when we get closer, like in March or April,
Yeah.
when we see that we're gonna have 30, 40, 50,000 left over,
Okay.
we really should try to, grab it and use it.
I'll check to see if we'll actually have that much left over, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a good point.
Okay,
Got it.
thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, so then we'll go to the district manager's report.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I hope you all got to see and enjoy the newsletter for fall/winter season 2023.
Very nice.
I am considering, thank you, I'm considering doing this as a quarterly item instead of monthly. It'll have more, it's better to have more content quarterly than if you do it monthly. It just seems kind of spare and not as engaging, I think. But we'll talk about that more. I would like to start doing that as a quarterly item. Our community coordinator, Artie, is still working on more trainings going forward, and he'll hopefully be able to start fully using our FMS portal in the next few weeks. I have now officially assigned him to several of the committees that I was working on, and you will receive an email on that by or Friday, just confirming he is your staffer representing your committee, but always please CC me as well if you can, things that you need. We did have a scheduled Department of Buildings Constituent Services event in our office, and it was on December 15th for the residents, and it was packed in here. We had a lot of people, it went really well, and we didn't even have enough room for most of the people throughout the day. So we'll definitely be arranging more dates for that as a future resource for our community. Our office did receive the tickets for the 100 tickets for the Yankee Winter Wonderland event in December, and just confirming that we did distribute them to the Kingsbridge Heights Community Center and to our local shelter for the families to go and enjoy a toy, a hot chocolate, see Santa, have some hot dogs at Yankee Stadium. I have officially secured, I think, all of the meeting spaces now for our full board meetings throughout June, in all the areas of our district, Riverdale, Kingsbridge, Van Cortlandt, and Marble Hill, as requested by our board and chairperson, Julie Reyes.
No, as requested by the community board for many years. I keep having to
Yeah.
say that.
I said that first. But anyway, just always check the calendar to see where the meetings are, because they will be changing. We're working on getting ready, as Julie mentioned, the chairperson Reyes mentioned, for posting for nominations for the 4 awards that our community board does. The Combat Kid Awards, the Yankee Awards, Irving Latimer Community Service Award, and Betty Campbell Adams Valuable Merchant Award. We'll be reaching out to those committees to work with them, get the press releases ready, and I'm sure your committees will be posting as well to the community to make nominations. I just also want to make sure our committees are getting comfortable with running their Zoom meetings. Again, if you're not, please reach out to us for another Zoom training so we can make sure that you have someone who could do the Zoom for you if the staffer is not present. And last, I did recently hold the District Service Cabinet meeting January 2nd, and I will be posting those minutes to the full board shortly. The next meeting will be on Tuesday, February 6th, and thank you all for sending in your request to follow up on. Lastly, as you may have noticed or not noticed, I broke my ankle last week, and we'll be having surgery on it, yeah. So I will be working remotely throughout next week. But I am very reachable after Sunday, and I will keep you informed on my progress. I cannot sit still for very long, so I won't be gone for very long. In the meantime, Artie's going to be very helpful. Thank you, Artie, to do what he can for the next 2 days while I'm out, and we'll go from there. So thank you.
Thank you, Farah.
Go ahead, Bob.
Just a suggestion. Something in your report reminds me, we have so many new people on the board. There's 12 new people, and every time Yankees tickets come up, in the past, Borough President Diaz always sent the Conflict of Interest Board extensive memo on Yankee tickets.
Sure.
It probably wouldn't be a bad idea, as you announce it to the board, just to say, Conflict of Interest Board, please understand, members, community board members are not allowed to accept the tickets, staff is not allowed to accept the tickets. It probably just stick it onto the
report.
announcement, yeah.
Okay, that's,
And I say it because there are so many new people, that what are they wouldn't know.
sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yep.
Well, first of all, Rosemary said that because she and I would both love to get our hands on the Yankees ticket. And we know we can't, so we just had to lay down the rules. I'm sorry to hear about the ankle, and now I understand what the crutches are for. I did want to ask, was there any one dominant theme that came out of the DOB meetings here, or was it a whole bunch of different issues?
I think it was a whole bunch of different issues. We did not sit in on, like, she sat in the conference room with the person. We were all out in the main room. I know some people mentioned some of the issues. There was a whole host of different issues. Some people, you know, happy with the answers, some not, but they all were given an answer and an opportunity to speak about what their issue was. So I couldn't give you, did you hear about any of the issues?
No, I was just curious to know what, you know, if there was a particular issue that came up that we should be aware of, or if it, you know, as I said, a whole bunch of different issues, which
Well, that's a
it
good
was.
question. I can ask our DOB rep and see if there was any main issue. That's a good question to ask.
Thanks.
I'll follow up with her on that.
A good point to follow up with them. there might be some privacy issues, you know, individuals may not want it
Yeah, we
to
didn't
have
want-
you on top of them, but DOB can speak in the general, so that
Mhm.
could be really useful.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Okay, thank you. So we'll go with the next item, roll call.
Reyes?
Present.
Sergio Villaverde. Margaret Della, present. Scott Crompinger.
Present.
Laura Spalter.
Present.
Leah Alexander.
Present.
Bender.
Present?
Buford.
Present.
Panuzzi. Fazio. Gelman.
Present.
Mary Ginty.
Here.
Tia Gomez. Edward Green.
Present.
Bob Kaplan. Richard D. Martinez. Charles Merzler. Deborah Trappis.
Present.
And Wolpoff.
So you have to speak?
Muted, unmute, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey. Okay. Oh, wait, isn't there another page or no? No, that's.
Just for a
Sorry.
second. On the board, is that the chunk?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Is Oscar, I don't see Oscar. Is Oscar in the room? No? So Mary Ellen, you're online. You're the vice chair. Do you want to report for the aging?
Well, I'm trying to remember we didn't have anybody on, oh, hi, everybody, and Happy New Year. We didn't have anybody on the Zoom with us. It was just our committee members. We had a really good meeting. We had a discussion of what we'd like to do for the year as the aging committee. We tossed some good ideas around and our next meeting is, I wasn't prepared, sorry. Give me 1 second. You're on the spot reporter. Let's see. Our next meeting will be January 18th at 4 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. The next item, budget, David Gelman.
Yes, Happy New Year all. What?
No, I was gonna just interrupt, the minutes, do you wanna add that after now, the committee? On the agenda? The committee, chairs?
The December 6 minutes. I just skipped right over that. Thank you, Farah.
No time like the present.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Farah. We'll do the December 6th, 2023 executive minutes that were distributed. Any comments, edits?
No, wait, there's a correction
Okay,
on, under the committee, meetings, under education, the,
in education.
Yeah. Report?
the SLA still in there, it's really the SCA.
Right. You're not gonna have liquor, served?
It might be a good idea.
Okay.
I was just going to email my edits over because they're Scrivener's errors, but, under traffic and transportation, city should be CITI bike.
Wait,
CITY
traffic
bike.
and transport.
Okay, bottom of page 3.
ITI, got it.
Correct, in two places, and then also Jimmy Packers is PACES.
Oh, not PAC, not with a K in there, right?
No,
PKES.
A PACKES,
Got it. City bike and package.
Motion to approve as amended?
Second?
Great. Okay, great, thank you. David?
Well, we do have to vote.
We have to actually vote, Julie.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just not into this. Okay.
Too much sunshine, huh?
I wish. Okay, motion to accept the minutes. Everyone in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, then the minutes accepted as with the edits. And now we'll go back to the reports and resolutions. David Gelman, the budget.
Okay. Again, Happy New Year to you all. So we're really starting the budget cycle in earnest for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. So each of the committees, you should have initial discussions of budget items on your agendas this month. Okay, just remember to include it on your agendas and have people come and just have, bat them around, chat about them a little bit. You can use last year's as a starting point, but please don't use it. Don't let that limit your creativity or the members of your committee. Then next month in February, you should really, so to speak, commit them to paper, write them all down, all the ideas that you do have, and agree that that's what you want to work with. March, you should, at your meeting again on your agenda, you should take an initial prioritization of those items, both budget and capital, the separate lists. And then in April, come up with your final prioritization. I think it's a good practice to have the committee vote on that priority, but there's nothing in our bylaws that says that you must. So you, as the chair, can use your judgment on that. But you should come out of your April meeting with a priority list, and they will be due to me and to the office April 19th, I think it is. One or two committees you typically have late meetings to the 20th or the 25th of the month. You will be. We can chat to make sure, but we need to get them in on time. We don't want a fire drill on May 1st, so please aim to get them in by the 17th. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Economic development. I know Nick's not there. Is there anyone wants to report for economic development? I know he is having the joint meeting tomorrow evening with land use. So we'll move on to education. Sylvia?
I had my meeting. I covered the mayoral control of the public schools. I did not have a quorum, so nothing much happened other than that. And my next meeting is January 23rd.
Thank you. Okay. Environment and sanitation. I know Bob Fanuzzi is out this evening. Is there anyone there who would like to speak on the committee's behalf? Laura, is there anything important that you want to pass on for the committee?
December. We'll have a meeting in January,
Okay.
Wednesday. I don't have, no.
Okay. Thank you. Health and hospital. Don't believe the rabbi is there. Health and hospital does have a new vice chair, Josh Land, who I don't think is there either. Okay, is anyone there? Health and hospital, no, right? I don't see anybody. The last person I see on the video is Laura. I don't think anybody's passed you, Laura, in the room. You're the last one at the table, right?
Hospitals. We discussed priorities for the year, and we talked about perhaps a collaborative conversation on the how hate impacts health, to discuss, to try to get at all of the things going on in our shared environment, in our world, and how it impacts people when they are in a position of feeling retaliation, hate, anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim, anti-Black, anti-LGBTQ. There's so much going on, and what that does to individuals and how we can emphasize ways that individuals can take action in controlling their own health, and what it does to impact sort of our collective health as a community. So that's a conversation that we'd like to move forward with some committees that feel compelled to do so. But certainly the chair will follow up.
Thank you, Margaret. And Margaret, thank you for the statement that you made sure that we had up on the website. Very good statement.
Um,
Marty?
Yeah, just, excuse me, on this committee, I want to bring to your attention that there are a number of Zionism is terrorism stickers being pasted up around stop signs or lampposts. And I brought it to the attention of Farah, and I believe your committee specifically, but the board needs to make sure that we look into this.
Farah, do you want to respond? Because I know you started working on it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to get, I have pictures, I'm waiting to just get exact locations. I will immediately be reaching out. DOT has been very responsive to removing any kind of sticker or language or message on any of their signs, so that's first and foremost. Also, we'll be reaching out with our local elected officials on what they are doing about this as well. Those are the immediate responses. If anyone sees anything, hears anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office as well as the local elected officials' office so we can respond accordingly.
The pictures I got were at 237th Street by the monument.
The monument, okay.
Ed has a question.
Less of a question, more of a suggestion. I would suggest that you reach out to the 50th precinct because we have really a lot of Argus cameras now in our area. So people, whoever's posting this may have done it within range of an Argus camera, so that could be helpful. You really should do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so, also, yes, everyone reach out to the local precinct, but we'll do that as well.
And thank you, Marty, for bringing it to our attention, because that should not be tolerated at all. Okay. We'll do housing, Rosemary?
Yes, so I have a resolution. I think we should probably just focus on that. The minutes of my meeting describe pretty well what we discussed at the meeting, but there is
You
a
don't have to look at the
resolution.
screen. Don't look at the screen. Talk to the people in the room. Thank you.
Okay, just a little background history on it. This was brought up, actually at your suggestion, Julie, in our November meeting, because at the City of Yes Economic Opportunity, which Housing Committee was not a part of, it was discussed that under the campus section, New York City Housing Authority was specifically named and kind of singled out for commercial development on the ground floor up to 15,000 square feet. So the committee took a look at it, we discussed it, and I, at the board meeting, at the board meeting, I described the general feeling of the committee and opposition to it. And since then, Julie suggested that the committee make a resolution out of that research and those comments and what have you. So that's what this resolution is. And let's see, it just Everybody has it? Yes, I think.
It's in the packet. Anybody need a packet
Last page.
with all the resolutions?
So without reading it, it's just to follow along, the thoughts, the, City of Yes Economic Opportunities, calls for allowing, commercial development on campuses, and campuses, for this purpose, included specifically New York City Housing Authority, developments. We looked at Marble Hill and Fort Independence, that's, close to 2,000, units. It is in an R6 zone. There's no commercial overlay on those developments or on that property. We discussed it at our November meeting, and there was a unanimous concern about if there were to be commercial developments on the ground floor, 15,000 square feet, concern about increased truck traffic to the sites for deliveries and truck removal of refuge, extended hours of operation with in a residential development, and last but not least, signage with or without illumination. The committee thought that all of those things, and it's therefore be it resolved, were incompatible with the residentially zoned and residentially development housing authority neighborhoods. It would be detrimental to the quiet enjoyment of those developments, and therefore, the committee opposed it unanimously. That's kind of it in a nutshell.
Anyone has any questions or comments on the resolution?
The typo?
Yeah.
Planning? No, what?
I have a question.
Compatible with a residentially, I meant that to be, a residentially zoned.
A neighborhoods. Top the A.
Marty has a
Yes,
question.
Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, I have no difficulty with the resolution at all. I just want to make sure everyone is aware that there will probably be at least one more, if not two, resolutions concerning this that will emerge from tomorrow night's land use economic development committees, with varying perspectives on the whole city of Yes. So I personally agree with what was brought forth on this one, but I think you just have to keep an open mind for what may show up next week.
Let me just add, Julie, I think I told you, I just told Farah and Artie, I'm going to London tomorrow.
Yes.
Hooray! And, so Lee is the vice chair, bless her, she's the vice chair. She will handle the resolution at the board meeting, and so, thank you, Lee, and, so I won't be there I just wanna mention that, okay.
Yeah, Rosemary. Go ahead, Laura. Rosemary has the floor. Go ahead, Rosemary.
No, I'm done, no, it's.
Okay, all right, I just, a point of interest on this campus, it's also that if an owner amasses 1.5 acres, that could be anywhere, anywhere, in any R1, R2 residential area, they are able, under this City of Yes, to, construct 2,500 square feet of, commercial development. And it's really not difficult if you're going to, knock down this or knock down that and merge lots to amass 1.5 acres. It's really not that difficult. So, I applaud Rosemary's resolution, and I see a lot of impacts in, the whole community, not just the NYCHA impact. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, if I could just respond, Laura and Karen attended the last Housing Committee meeting and raised this exact issue. And you heard the committee members are totally sympathetic to and agree with that, but we could not, in good conscience, amend this resolution because we didn't have it on our agenda, we didn't discuss it specifically, so it's in the minutes that,
Right.
our heart is with the sentiment that was raised by you and Karen, but we just couldn't change the resolution at that point in
And
time.
I just want to note that the presentation on this by city planning, it was extremely vague. And I wrote, my question to Farah, who submitted it, to please define what is a campus.
Mhm.
And that's how, and, you know, this all came out. And my point is that you get something very simplistic, but it's really much, much more, and with a much greater impact than, you're led to believe. Cool, thank you.
And thank you, Rosemary, for bringing it forth with your committee. And I'm sure between housing, land use, and economics, there'll be a nice compromise. That's everybody's wish.
Won't be compromised by me.
But we'll start dancing tomorrow night, okay?
Oh, wait a minute, I'm against that one too.
Well, you gotta get your dancing card out, Laura, come on. Okay, so then the next one is, oh, great, land use. So Chuck's
I
not.
spoke to Chuck, I
Okay.
spoke to Chuck earlier this evening. I mean, his report is what emerges tomorrow night. I invite you all to zoom into or attend the Land Use Economic Development Committee, where I'm sure, even though it's winter, there will be some heat. So come in to be as excited as I will be.
Thank you, Marty. So now your law, rules, and ethics report.
My report is very concise. First of all, I want to apologize for not being there, going over the open meetings law and the qualifications for extraordinary circumstances. I think my situation fits in the category. I have an infection in my hand, and if those of you who've noticed, it takes me 2 hands to stand up. I only have 1 hand I can use now, so I'd be sitting, if I ever came there, I'd be sitting through the weekend till someone got me up. So that's the reason I'm not there. And I'm in pain, but I am enjoying participating. Just want to remind you that the Law, Rules, and Ethics Committee has put out, and all the chairs have received, a questionnaire concerning the use of extraordinary circumstance. We'd like your opinion and feedback. It's due, I believe, the beginning of next week. So if you have not filled it out, so far we have 1.5 returns. Thank Rosemary for turning hers, and half as I have filled mine out, but I will discuss it with my committee on Monday before I actually submit it. And that's my report.
Thank you, Marty. Good to see you. Okay, so now next
To
is,
let you know,
Sure.
Oscar did come.
right, I see him.
Okay.
Hey, Oscar. Okay, so now we're up to, and Oscar, your report was given by Mary Ellen. We have the next date for your meeting. Is there, just in case, if there's anything else that you may want to add? Since you,
You have a guest speaker, did she go over that? Okay.
Mhm.
For the aging committee meeting on the 11th, we have a guest speaker from the mayor's office. It's Anthony Taylor, the African American. He wanted to come and, so, put together kind of an agenda.
hey, Marty, did you hear that?
No,
Okay, so then it's not me, because it went in and out. Okay, so it wasn't just me. Okay, thank you, Oscar. Okay, if you guys can hear me, the next on the agenda is Zeb Travis for the Parks and Recreation.
Happy New Year, everybody. Good to be back here. We did not have a meeting in December. Our next meeting is January 24th. where we will be inviting the National Society of Colonial Dames of New York, who are attending, and they're going to be presenting on their membership requirements, the financial stuff that they've been doing for programming at Van Cortlandt House, and just generally answering committee questions that were raised at our November meeting.
I might show up for that one.
Yeah, it should be spicy.
Okay,
Good questions. Cover the waterfront.
a lot of good questions. Okay. Is there more, Zeb? Because for some reason, the volume goes in and out. The audio goes in and out.
Yeah, no, just the National Society of Colonial Dames will be attending on February 24th.
Okay, thank you.
Be there or be post-colonial?
January 24th.
January 24th.
Thank you, Deb. Okay, the next is public safety. Ed?
Public safety had 5 resolutions. We had a renewal application, full liquor license, liquor, wine, beer, and cider for Riverdale Steakhouse, right next door to here. No problems with the 50th. Committee approved it unanimously. We had a corporate change for a full liquor license for what was previously Mama Juana Cafe. Now gonna be Bacagua at 3541 Riverdale Avenue. So it was a corporate change. The new owner, Jemmy, she signed a 2 a.m. closing agreement. 50th had no issues with this business, and Public Safety Committee approved it unanimously. We had 2 Office of Cannabis Management new establishment licenses, and one was at 5625 Broadway, Unit 8. The other one was at 206 West 231st Street. And we'll say that our committee disapproved both these applications unanimously. And the main reasons really were both these businesses are presently operating in a legal smoke shop in our area. So that alone is almost a deal breaker for me. And I'm just gonna say, moving forward, if that's the case, it's gonna take some extraordinary circumstances, just for me speaking, for me to approve any business that's currently operating illegally in our neighborhood. One of the businesses even stated that they've been fined by law enforcement for selling illegally to underage customers. And what else am I leaving out? So and one of the owners even, when I pressed him on why are you operating illegally, he said, because I can make money and everybody's doing it. So I basically paraphrased him, but that was the sentiment. So we disapprove both of these applications unanimously. I am looking at these resolutions, though I may have made a technical error on it. Somebody can correct me if I did. So in the therefore be it resolved, it says Bronx Community Board 8 disapproves this application. Would it not be Bronx Community Board 8 approves this resolution to disapprove the application, or something along those lines? Or am I just pulling hairs here?
We all resolutions should be in the affirmative, but an affirmative negative always confuses me. So I say, don't worry about it, but make sure it makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
That's what we did last time with the land use, one of the land use resolutions.
So
We disapproved, the committee disapproved, and when the board went to vote on it, the vote was, do we agree with this decision or resolution from the committee? That was the one time I said aye, and people laughed, but I was going along with the resolution as opposed to approving or disapproving the resolution and its wording.
Okay, so does anything have to be changed on this resolution? Okay.
You could change it to, it's Bronx, therefore be it resolved, Bronx Community Board 8 agrees with this application or something, or, agrees with this decision.
With this resolution.
This resolution, so it agrees with the committee's position.
Yeah.
So it's in the affirmative, they
Farrah
agree
will
and
talk
affirm
about that during the week,
committee's-
I suppose.
Yeah.
Get it. So, that was 4, last but not least, So,
Jude, before you start, could you define level 1, level 2, and level 3?
I'm gonna get into that.
Okay.
So, our next resolution was a resolution from the committee. So, the New York City Council, Intro Bill 586 is a legislative bill that was scheduled to go before the City Council Public Safety Committee the next day after our public safety meeting. So we were under the impression that, okay, they're gonna vote on it. We did not know when the full city council was gonna vote on that bill. It just so happened the city council voted immediately following that. So what I'd like to do I'd like to withdraw this resolution and the new one and replace it with one, because the circumstances of, and this obviously has not passed our committee. I'd like to bring it up from the floor of the full board. So, withdrawing this one and bringing the updated one, I'm gonna read this, and Julie, you know, I know we're gonna be pressed for time, but I insist
No,
on
no,
reading
you
this
have
as
plenty of time. There's
Yeah,
no.
no, I'm
effort.
talking about at the full board, so, believe me, I'll try to make this as painless as
Okay.
possible. But,
Serious issue, deserves.
yeah, because it is. So, I'm just gonna read it, because it's better to hear it than hear it in my words. So, whereas on December 20th, 2023, the New York City Council passed, intro number 586, also known as the How Many Stops Act, a legislative bill requiring New York City police officers to file a separate police report for each level 1 interaction with the public. And whereas according to NYPD Patrol Guide, for level 1 stops, information can be requested from an individual and does not require any suspicion of criminal activity. The objective is to gather information and not to focus on the person as a potential suspect. And David, this third whereas is gonna be the answer to your question. So, whereas examples of level 1 stops include officers speaking to witnesses of a crime, seeking information from residents about a missing child or a fight in the park, canvassing subway riders about a reported crime, asking residents about a local crime in response to a 911 call, or asking a store owner if there is video footage of a recent crime. How Many Stops Act requires police officers to report on race, ethnicity, gender, and age of every person involved, and the detail of the circumstance and outcomes for each level 1 interaction. So whereas the federal court has already imposed reporting mandates on level 3 interactions, but rejected a previous effort to require NYPD officers to complete additional paperwork, finding that imposing additional reporting requirements on police officers were unnecessary. However, police officers must activate their body cams when engaging in level 1 encounters, which is an important thing to me, because that basically covers the concerns of people that are bringing this up, if there's already body cam footage covering this stuff.
What is a level 3, and hence a level 2?
Let me just finish. So,
All right, sorry.
Bronx District Attorney Darcel Clark opposes Intro Bill 586 due to negative impacts on community policing, citing longer response times and fewer positive interactions between police and the public. And whereas New York City Mayor Eric Adams opposes Bill 586 as written and has publicly sworn to veto it, saying the New York City Council has taken action today that, if implemented, will unquestionably make our city less safe. Whereas the Public Safety Committee of Bronx Community Board 8 voted to oppose Bill 586, because level 1 interaction reports will place a onerous bureaucratic burden on NYPD that will interfere with police work and sends a message: NYPD officers are not to be trusted with the most fundamental aspects of their profession. Bronx Community Board 8 supports Mayor Adams' veto of Intro Bill 586 and urges him to continue negotiations with NYC City Council members to remove level 1 interactions from the proposed law. Be it further resolved, Bronx Community Board 8 urges our City Council representatives, Alderman De La Rosa, Eric Dinowitz, and Perina Ana Sanchez, to work to amend this bill in order to remove level 1 reporting mandates. And I will also say all 3 of those City Council members voted for this bill. So, David, did your question get answered or no?
No, I don't know I understand level 1, but I don't know what level 3 is, and I assume there's a level 2.
Well, none of those are involved in this act. Oh, or level 2, what are we doing? That's something else that they're messing around with now.
At the time that we first voted, we didn't even know level 2 was part of it.
They amended it at their
Amended it
meeting.
At that meeting, the full board council meeting.
This
Level,
doesn't address that.
no, because we're not asking for that to be removed.
But
Level
context
two,
helps.
level 2 is a little bit more contact, more questions. There may be suspicion that the person you're interviewing may have some, direct involvement with the, investigation.
Okay.
It's very different from a level 1. Level 3 is, federally required. That has to do with, the stop and frisk case from 2011. So we focused here on the multitude of interactions with the level 1s that we feel, is a poison pill.
Well, I just want to say this also with this, and this may be making it very simplistic, but, we have our mayor's office, we have our Bronx DA, who are in strong opposition against this. And we have a city council that is basically saying, we understand, more about policing than the Bronx DA and the mayor. So, felt compelled to say that.
One question, what problem is it trying to solve? Is it, like, they think that the police are talking to people too often? They're in a harassing way?
I think that the spirit of this is to prevent discrimination. So they, I guess it's, or what do you think, racial profiling,
Well,
They're
since
doing it for
they-
statistical purposes. They're doing it basically for statistical purposes. The level 2 is basically when an officer just stops someone and by right has the power to ask someone pertinent information if they have a suspicious. A level 3 is when they're doing the old encounter where they may have a reason to arrest someone. And there is a level 4 as well. Forget what level 4 is. And level 1 is
I
just
just want-
basic, that they just want to do, they want it for statistical purposes to see if the police are abusing their authority and to see statistical purposes on racial, ethnic background stops, to make sure that everything is equal.
I just wanted to say also one thing that thought immediately when I heard this is, so if you're gonna start having police officers fill out more paperwork and compile more statistics on these level 1 interactions with the public, it's gonna mean police officers having more interaction with the public and asking more questions, and asking questions that are, I would think some people would find somewhat invasive. So I really believe something like this is going to cause more antagonistic relations between the police and the public by having something like this, because now you're gonna have police questioning people, for things that, were previously unnecessary, and now they're like compelled to do this. So to me, it's just gonna create more antagonistic, relations between the police and the public, because people are not gonna be asking about their race and their gender and, all this stuff, so.
They're not gonna be asked that. It's an observation that the officers will make.
Wilbert Morgan, your old friend from.
How are they gonna know?
No,
They're not gonna ask, are you a man or a woman? They're not gonna ask, are you, no, I don't think so.
I mean, it could be when it comes
Maybe.
down
How are they
to
gonna
race
know
or
the age?
ethnicity, like, how are you gonna start guessing?
There you go. Laura just hit it on the head. How are you gonna know the age unless you ask?
What, I just reacted to, gender and race. I did not comment about age.
If the paperwork needs to be filed, it needs to be precise.
They have to ask.
And I have a question so the council's already voted. The mayor says he's going to veto it, correct? So I want to be clear on what the be it resolved is. Are we asking our council members, in the event that the mayor vetoes it, not to override the veto?
That's exactly it, Bob.
Okay.
I was that was my next step to get into explaining. So the vote that they have right now, it is, as it stands, if they voted on it again that same way, it would be a veto-proof majority. So the mayor, I'm gonna reach out to the mayor's office this week. I'm trying to get some type of answer on what they want or intend to do with this. But if the mayor does intend to veto it, as he's publicly stated, then it would go back, I believe it would go back to the city council for another vote. And, see, to me, this is the purpose of this whole resolution, is that vote has to change in order for this not to go through. So we have, in my mind, again, this is our city council, trying to pass legislative measures that are out of touch with their constituents.
Mm-hmm.
I feel anyway, and we'll bring this to a vote at the board to see if there's any correlation with that within our little community. But
I just want to be clear that the ask in the be it resolved is clear, that in the event that the mayor does veto the legislation, that we are urging our council representatives not to override the veto.
Well, this is what it says exactly. Be it further resolved, Bronx Community Board 8 urges our city council representatives, Carmen De La Rosa, Eric Dinowitz, and Pirina Ana Sanchez, work to amend the bill in order to remove level 1 reporting mandates. Maybe we can be more specific with that. What do you think?
No, that's clear that, we want them to remove the level 1 interactions from the bill.
I'd go one step further. Rather than amend the bill, I'd rather them vote against it, but.
We can offer that as a choice, to amend the legislation to remove level 1 interactions, or, in the event that's not possible, not to override the mayor's veto of the bill.
Okay, so we need to upgrade the language a little bit, you think?
Yeah, but that's not hard. I'd be happy to work with you, anybody else would. Yeah.
How frequently do we ask elected officials them to change their votes or to vote in a certain way?
I don't think it comes up very often, but we do sometimes ask them to vote a certain way. I don't see a categorical difference between vote to oppose something, vote to support something, or vote to override something. The same basic process.
The mayor has 30 days. Doesn't do a veto within 30 days, then it just automatically passes.
I think it was done pretty sneakily also, that's just my opinion, but they had the Public Safety Committee, and then the next thing you knew, the same day, we actually tried to find out when the next vote was gonna be, and it was all hush-hush, and the next thing we knew it was a law.
Aren't these 3 council members on some letter of 19 council members opposed to this?
No, they all voted for it. We voted for it.
But that's not what you asked. I think there was a letter saying that there was opposition to the bill.
But not them.
Not them.
Right. There was opposition for the bill. 35 city council members voted yes for this. 34 is a veto-proof majority if it goes to the next step. So our are crucial for this. I don't know what any other community board is doing about this, but, I'm gonna have discussions with the mayor's office to see what they're doing with other community boards, but we can just work on what we have to do here.
I'm gonna suggest, I think you should define level 1, 2, and 3 before you read this. Context is important, so people understand, what this is about and the impact. Level 1, 2, and level 1 and level 3 are meaningless to most people.
No, our concern here is level 1, right?
No,
That's all we need to know.
But we mentioned level 3 as an extreme
Here's
in the following paragraph.
Here's a good point, just to give it context so people understand, how dramatic this is, what they're trying to do is.
You could cut the level 3 part out.
But also including, like, like a sum of how many level ones in last year, kind of generate how much paperwork they would actually have to do. And you can quantify response times and how much time the officers actually have to go ahead and. We did have it last year.
Great thought, Oscar.
Yeah.
Officer at the meeting spoke about.
Julie, what's up?
I just wanted to say, I think someone mentioned about a letter that went through opposing this. The mayor's office did contact our office asking us to sign on to such a letter. And because the board hadn't taken a stand or even discussed it, Ed was good enough to quickly bring it to his committee, and at least we have a voice on record of where we stood. But we couldn't sign on to that letter because the community board hadn't even spoken of it.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Doesn't take much.
So whereas clause with giving examples of a level. We already defined level 1.
I remember.
Level 3, and so just add a clause that defines.
Answers it, yes.
I remember now. The officer who was attending the public safety meeting, he had the number for level 3. Remember,
Yeah.
and it wasn't that many. He said for the whole precinct, for the year, for the month, because they have that data, and he knew it. He was able to, directly impact with arrest. So maybe we can get more data.
Yeah, and I'll just add too, and I won't mention his name, but, one of the officers did come up to me after the meeting and, you know, very humbly said, thank you for sticking up for us. And that touched me.
Mhm.
I just want to say, you know, we're Community Board 8, and in my 3 years on the board, doesn't matter whether you live in Marble Hill, Queensbridge, Riverdale, wherever you live, the complaint is always, we want more cops, we want to see more cops, and we want them enforcing. It may be very different in other, in the city, you know, but in the 5-0, that's why we felt comfortable doing this and giving them that vote of confidence, because we don't get complaints about, we get complaints that they're not there, they're not enforcing, we want to.
Right.
Right.
I also want to add that I feel like the goal in some ways is to encourage more community policing and more interaction and discussion between police officers and the community, and that the reporting requirements, in my guess, would make officers less likely to want to talk to people if they know they got to file a report for every casual conversation,
Yep.
and that it will make people less likely to want to talk to the police because they're going to be asked demographic information, stuff that's going to feel very formal and on the record and might make them feel exposed or vulnerable. So I think that this really sets it puts people into a position where we would have less community engagement with the police, and I think that would be bad.
No, I did speak with the, chair of the, 50th Precinct Community Council, and they hadn't had a chance, to vote on it, but I wanted to tell her that I didn't know if this would pass, but we have this resolution and what is her feelings, and she, as a resident of Marble Hill, and she has always said, I want more community policing, I want to see more police. I agree with this resolution 100%, that for this, just what you said, that there will be fewer interactions. It will be very uncomfortable for everybody, and it will take police away from policing, which is the quote that we use for Darcel Clark. I mean, she opposed it. The DA in Queens opposed it, Staten Island opposed it. There was a lot of opposition, but just not enough. I mean, we're speaking for the 5-0, you know, our experiences.
So the last thing I'll say is, Julie, I'll do my darndest not to try to turn this into a circus at the full board, because I know we're gonna be pressed for time, so I really will try to, you know, well, you get the picture.
We'll remind everybody to read their resolutions before the meeting. you know, and that
That would
one,
be
I'm
helpful.
sure you have to go into detail with that. So you could start off with that and then we'll just move on. You'll be fine. We'll just throw eggs at you. Okay, is that it, Ed?
I actually do want to add one other quick thing.
Go ahead.
So if Alina Dow does happen to show up, and speak, I'm gonna ask her to speak on this if she wants to. I don't know if she wants to, but, just to let you know, that might be the time, you know.
Why don't you give her a call beforehand, or Farah and I could call her?
I tried to reach out. I haven't been able to connect with her, but I'm gonna get her this week.
She's the
Yeah.
mayor's rep.
Because she's been very, very helpful to the community board. Maybe she's on vacation, the holidays. I would reach out to her before the meeting rather than just, you know, ambush her like that.
I'm trying, believe me. We haven't
We'll,
connected.
we'll
this
reach out
week
to
for
her
some
as
reason.
well. We'll reach out to her as well. Because she reached out to us in regards to it.
Oh.
Very suspicious.
Is that right?
She just had surgery.
That's why she didn't return my call? All right, okay,
Because she's always very responsive.
okay. I know, from what I understand.
And I'm sure
All right.
she's appreciative. I'm sure she's
That's it,
appreciative that you took up the issue when she contacted the board office. So I'm sure she will want to speak with you.
That's it, I sucked up all the air in the room, go ahead.
Do it now, because you can't do it Tuesday. Okay. So now we'll move on with traffic and transportation. Kelly?
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year, all that jazz. Follow up to our walkthrough. No, I was trying to think of the meeting, the November meeting. We did arrange a walkthrough with DOT regarding the city bikes. They provided the recap to the office today. So once I've had an opportunity to review it, I will discuss it in mass with the board. It was a very full meeting, and we put forth some recommendations to DOT. Hopefully, they've addressed at least some of our concerns in there. They appear to be responsive to the community's concerns. There was correct me if I'm wrong, a young lady who approached them about the city bike installation and the impact that it's had on school bus pickups and drop-offs in one location, and so hopefully they've addressed that. I apologize at the last meeting, I know that the last executive meeting, I know that there were questions asked of me, asking me to go back to DOT about the Riverdale Avenue road diet. Unfortunately, following the last executive committee meeting, I was very sick and I didn't do anything. I was literally flat on my back, so I have to go back to DOT with those questions, so apologies, but I will get back to.
No apologies.
To people. At the December meeting, we did have one staple, application, and it was from SAR Academy, and they would like a permit to close off just the curb traffic, the curb lane, on both sides of 259th Street and on Netherland Avenue, and including the dead end, for their 55th annual celebration. And their ask was, they were looking at that, thinking about setup and impacting, travel, getting to the event, and they did not want to have the street completely blocked off, but they were going to use the curb to help better facilitate having traffic in and out of the facility, helping them set up and helping clean up, but they are not restricting any vehicular traffic, so the cars will still be able to go through during those hours, but no one will be able to park during those hours, and that's the only impact to SAR Academy that the event will have to the community. And there were about 6 parking spaces total on 259th Street and a couple more on dead end, as you approach the dead end. The committee voted to approve the issuance of the permit. And that's all I have. The next meeting is January 18th.
I want to be up to, traffic is still going to be able to go through that street?
Correct.
Okay. When you think of Skyview up there, there's only two ways out. It's down by the Y and 259. It's the only way out.
No, we asked the question several times in several different ways, and he gave us the same answer. No, we don't want to block vehicular traffic. We just don't want people to block the curbs, because this way it'll help with them going in and out.
It's only at the bottom of the hill, not going up the hill, parking restriction.
Julie has her hand raised.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Kelly. I just wanted to just clarify, David just mentioned part of it. It's not going all the way up the hill where Skyview is on Arlington Avenue. They could still park from Arlington down to SAR, up to Netherland. Like from Arlington to Netherland, good for parking. Correct?
Yes. But
Okay.
Netherland, no. Yes.
Now, the Netherland one, I wouldn't feel comfortable in the wintertime limiting people in that area from parking, because why would they need Netherland? If the school is around the corner from Netherland, why restrict people from parking on Netherland?
They're using a part of it for vehicles, that like vehicles to set up, so larger vehicles that may be coming in to drop off stuff, so like their caterers and things of that nature. Staging, yes, and staging.
But he said he had the Skyview Key Food parking lot, he had the school across the street, he has SAR parking lot, and he has our office parking lot. Like, he has 4 large parking lots. I'm just thinking of the people who live in Skyview and Netherland Gardens in the winter on the first weekend of February. Like Netherland Gardens, I don't see why people cannot park there. Their car can go straight up the hill. They can use, he said he had all the Skyview. He spoke to the owner at the Skyview parking lot. Like, me personally, I couldn't go for limiting people on Netherland Avenue if they're allowed parking there. I'm not even sure they're allowed parking. But if they're allowed parking, I'm just thinking of Skyview. I know they have a waiting list for parking forever, and Netherland Gardens. The parking is tough around there. So why-
Julie,
Yeah,
Netherland Gardens would not be affected. If I read this correctly, Kelly, we're talking about a small section of Netherland Avenue that's in back of the Skyview Shopping Center, and that dead ends right there. It does not go down to Netherland Gardens and all the housing complexes that are off 254th Street. This is up at 259th, and it's a limited number of parking spaces right behind Skyview. So
No, I
the
know.
people in Netherland Gardens wouldn't be affected at all.
well, the people who have cars who are looking for parking in the dead of the winter would be affected. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who need to park in the area. Like, why Netherland Garden, rather Netherland, behind the supermarket? Like 240,
Right.
259th Street, behind the supermarket, they don't want people to park there. And that's the part that I don't understand why.
No, if there are people in
Yeah.
Netherland Gardens parking back there, then yeah, they're going to be without their parking. But that's a pretty good walk between Netherland Gardens, which is all the way on the other side of the Skyview Shopping Center, and the area that we're talking about here.
Right, it's right there. They could cut through the gate at Key Food. They have the key to get in. And then you have the people in Skyview who park around there as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, David.
There is a driving gate. It's not really a dead end, because there's a driving gate to get into Netherland Gardens. And I think that we should have SAR confirm with the Netherland Gardens apartment building co-op, whatever it is, that they're okay with that, it being closed off for the duration of the day, or at least the evening. They may not be.
Like, I
There's a
understand
walking gate
259th
and there's a
Street.
driving gate.
Yeah.
Julie?
I was just saying, I understand 259th Street, because Farah had explained that it's only 6 spots, but the Netherland Avenue, if they can park there, we're not even sure they can park there legally, but let's say people can park there legally, why would they be subjected not to be able to park in the dead of the winter on a street that's, no one's
They
gonna.
may want to use it for their valets or something.
No, they said they weren't gonna park in the street. They said right, Kelly? Because we asked them 4 different ways. They said, no, we're not gonna park on the street. Marty
not
has his
parking
hand up.
Yeah, this just strikes me that, spending a lot of time on this, but how is this different than any street, permit we've allowed in the past, except that it's at night? We've closed off streets, we've closed off bus routes, we've closed off a lot. This is one night and, it's a street fair.
Mm-hmm.
Let the neighbors know. No, let Neville Gardens know?
She's right, it was for public.
For public purposes, not for a private event, yeah.
Margaret, change the topic. Can I ask about the 231st, stairs at, on the 1 train? There's, a northbound set of stairs that's entirely gone, and it doesn't look like it's gonna be replaced anytime soon.
Sent us
Yeah.
a response
It's
from
a
MTA,
Mm-hmm.
and they said all the other locations are open, they're doing minor repairs,
That's one
and it
set of
should be
stairs.
done by the beginning of the year, pretty much, like very soon, but I agree, I saw the
It sounds
picture.
so vague.
There was no steps at
At
all
all.
there.
It's been like that for a while.
Months.
So we can, I'll ask her again,
Ask again.
because we did, I sent you both the
Yeah.
response, but it doesn't make sense, I agree.
And it's so vague, by the beginning of the year, that could be March, April.
Yeah.
That's
But they
pretty
did confirm
big.
you
Yeah.
have the other 3 entrances or
No,
steps there.
the other 3, how are you gonna do that? If you're going north,
And you have one.
you have one
Yeah.
set of stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with it every night. It's a mosh pit in there.
Dangerous
Yeah.
for thousands and thousands of people.
At rush hour.
Yeah, to have
Yeah.
one exit.
Yeah. There's no other exit. You can't
Yeah.
cross over.
Is it on our budget list? Have we,
I don't recall it being on the budget.
this fixing, this capital project, sounds like a capital project?
It's because they're fixing it, that they took the
They
stairs
can take the
down.
elevator.
Oh, okay, no, you know what, I'm at this end, I didn't really hear, okay, so they took the stairs
They
down.
took the stairs down.
Repair them.
The elevator does
Does
work
work
though,
on-
on
okay.
that side, but, I mean, how big is the elevator?
You know,
I hope they work fast.
Is that it, Kelly?
Yes, that's it for C and T.
Any other questions for Kelly? Good, thank you. Youth, Julia let me know that she will not be attending this evening, but her next youth committee meeting will be February 19th. Okay, the next committee, SCREE, Margaret?
We're gonna be working with Health and Human Services on health. And our next meeting is, I believe, February 1st. Thursday.
Thank you. Bob, do you have anything for the Greenway?
Yeah, we're going to meet on Tuesday, January 30th.
Thank you. And is anyone reporting for veterans? Okay. So then we'll go on to unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? No? Okay. So we'll go on to new business then. On the agenda for new business, it states removal of board member, and I should have put maybe process of removal of board member. There is a board member that I will not name because it is a process. I'll just state that there is a board member who has not attended any meetings. Board member hasn't contacted the committee chairs of the committee that the board member was assigned to. And we've made numerous attempts to reach out to the board member. And the borough president's office is also attempting to reach out to the board member. So I contacted the Law Rules and Ethics Committee as well and have been in communications in regards to this process because I just wanted to bring it to the board to see if you are in agreement, actually the executive board, because it goes to the executive board, to see if you are in agreement to have this board member removed. The process would be that first I let the executive board know. We send out a letter to the board member, and the board member would have 30 days to respond back before the process of actually bringing it to the full board to have the board member removed. And that's one of the reasons that I'm not going to state the board member's name in the event they receive the letter and they figure, let me go to a meeting. This is, I want to be involved. So I just don't want to put a name out there just in case they do respond to the letter and come to the meeting. So what I need to know from the executive board is if you're willing to move forward to have this board member removed because they just haven't responded. I'd just like to let Marty go first if he has any comments since I've been in communications with him back and forth. Oh, I would say that that this process has never happened before, I was told by the borough president's office, but they said go ahead if that's what we wanted to do. Okay, Marty?
Yeah, we, those of us who know Mark Friedlander, who wrote our bylaws, he put stuff in here we never thought we'd ever have to use. But Article 3, Section 4 speaks directly to, I'll quote a bit of it, I have to read it all. An appointed member may be removed by the board for failure to comply with Section 3 of this article for 3 consecutive absences from meetings of the board, for failure to attend 6 or more meetings of the board in a period of any 1 year, or for other good cause. And I advise you all to read this. The fact is, I have been surprised that the BP's office wants us to do this, when in fact, all they need do is rescind the appointment, since the person has never arrived and never identified him or herself. And it strikes me that we shouldn't have to do this. But the fact is, nobody's acting, and the bylaws permit for this, or recognize the possibility of this, and therefore the executive committee should consider the reasons why he or she has not attended a single committee meeting. He or she has not attended a single board meeting, and has violated this section in every possible way, and therefore it would be appropriate for us to recommend to the board to have this person removed from the roles of the board. I just note that if this person were to wake up tomorrow and decide they want to come to a meeting, the person has the right to come before the full board and express the reasons why they have not been able to comply. If we decide that reason is valid, we can be compassionate. But if they decide that reason is not worthy of compassion, then I believe we should move forward and vote that person off the board and solve the BP's problem, which really isn't ours.
Okay. Thank you, Marty. Any comments from the room? David?
Just one simple thing. Now, you mentioned that she didn't attend any of the committee meetings that he was assigned to. We requested committees to be on. Did that person request any committees?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
One communication,
Okay.
and that's how we assign them to a committee,
Okay.
but nothing since,
Okay.
and
All right.
multiple attempts on every level to come.
Okay. So she does exist and is sentient, but may not care or whatever, or may be ill. But thank you.
The the timeframe then is that if the board is okay, or the executive committee is okay with this, then you haven't sent any communication yet, but you would send the communication and then 30 days would start, and then the board, it would be probably the February board meeting if they were going to appear?
Well, we've sent communication. I've called, emailed, sent a letter, but not officially saying if you do not respond, then you will be taken off. If the
That's the
executive board,
communication I'm talking about.
right, that letter cannot go out until after I speak with the executive board, and then once I get the okay to move forward with that, then we send that letter stating that if you do not respond to this communication, you will likely be taken off the board, and explain the bylaws to him or her of that section. That letter will go out if the executive board gives the approval that, yes, let's remove this person or start the process at least. I mean, the person could be off at war somewhere. We don't know. We have absolutely no idea. That's why I'm not going to name the person, because we don't know why they haven't responded since August of 2023. And I did check with the committee chairs that board member was a member of, and they have not even heard from this person as well. And I think it's a privilege to be a board member. And I think that if you're not coming, if you're not responding, and if you're not acknowledging, I think it's a privilege to be a board member, and we get paid good to be here. So they should come. I see why, but honestly, so I really would like feedback, because it's really to the executive board. That's just my opinion, but I really need your feedback. If you think that we should go ahead and have this person removed. The borough president's office advised what they would do is just let the person, stay on the roll until the end and just not renew them. And I don't think that's fair to those of us who put in the work.
Can I just add that, is it the end of their term? Because that term for
Yes.
that person is 2 years. not
I know.
one.
2 years.
Impact on our quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
So-
wanted to say briefly that, the procedure sounds right for me. I think you should go ahead and do it. I believe the reason the borough president's office is not, is putting the onus on us, it's a checks and balance thing. They're not gonna just unilaterally do that without some type of paperwork on our end to, verify that this has happened. And the third is that, in my place of employment, what we usually do is a wellness check on somebody like that, because you don't even know if they're still alive, but I think that's out of the realm of what we do here, so I think we just follow through with, on the procedure. It sounds perfect to me.
Okay. Okay.
I agree. I think that the rules exist for a reason. It's to provide these kind of backstops and check-ins, and people take things seriously. And in this case, you're basically providing a 30-day last call. Are you interested? This is in resetting expectations. And so I think that that's important. And if they don't respond, then either there's something seriously has happened to them, or they're not interested in being on the board and they've changed their mind. And I think that that's valid, and we should not have them impact our quorums and such.
Okay.
You looking for a resolution or a vote of confidence or what?
A vote of confidence so that I can at least say, okay, the executive board says, go ahead, move forward. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone else have, oh, go ahead, somebody was speaking?
Any
Margaret.
abstentions, opposition, unanimous?
So it's to send a letter out to the
Yes.
person, not to kick them off the board. It's
No,
just-
they cannot be kicked off like that. The letter is sent out, and I want to send it so that we have
Understood.
proof that it was sent out.
Start the process.
Right, and once we send the letter out, they have 30 days to respond. So 30 days will bring us into the February board meeting. So by the February board meeting, if they haven't responded, then we would do the vote in the February board meeting to have them removed. Any other questions? It got so quiet. Can you guys hear me?
I don't have any questions, I just have a statement.
So quiet, okay.
Is taking the easy way out and putting the onus on the community board. When you are appointed, you're
told that you have to do X, Y, and Z. And one of the things you have to do is attend X number of meetings, you know, sit on X number of committees, and if the person isn't doing that, then that's within the BP's office purview, in my opinion, and not
BP's code.
Right, it's the BP's code. It's not, yes, it's also our code, but the person is appointed by the BP's office at the request of the BP.
Well, that would say, like, if you think about it in a corporate structure, you're not a CEO firing someone if a manager could do it. Because they're under the jurisdiction, or they're under the direction of that manager. In this case, we would be the manager and the BP, because that's a.
I understand that, as someone who's in corporate, right? I understand that, but it's still, they have their own policies. They put together that policy, and they have to adhere to it. So what they're doing is they're waffling, and they're making the community board the heavy versus the BP's office being the heavy.
Well, but the BP's office, this has virtually no impact on them for the next 18 months. It does have an effect on us, at least in terms of quorum, and we should.
I disagree with it. It has no impact on them because they have to be held to their word also, right? Because otherwise, they're just rubber stamping people. It's giving people the impression that they're being, they can apply to be on the board, they're appointed, and they don't have to do anything because the BP's office is co-signing it by taking no action.
Kelly, I agree with you, but, you know, this is a process they're putting in place. It's not particularly onerous for us. We go ahead and do it, and, you know, it'll take 30 days, which probably it shouldn't take those 30 days, but it will. And then, you know, assuming that everything continues as it has been, the whole thing will be over at that point.
And it's,
So, yeah, no, we'll deal with it.
that's appropriate for us to express our indignation that this person doesn't care to participate. Or communicate.
Okay, sounds good. Any other new business? Okay, so our next meeting will be February 7th. And I'd like to thank Mary Ellen Lee and Omar. Omar was here for most of the evening for hanging in there with us. And thank you, chairs, for coming over there tonight. Thank you. Anyone wants to make any announcements, since we finished early without a clock too? It's 8:35.
Adjourn. Second.
Okay.
Say good night, Gracie.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Feel better, Marty.
Oh, yeah, no, totally.